I'm 89 years old now. I married my childhood sweetheart in 1952. I wanted children and a stable, happy home. Life would be wonderful. When my oldest child was 4 months old, the violence began. It became more intense each time, and the mental and financial burden was unbearable. But my children were doing well in school, which was the main reason why I stayed in the marriage for 30 years. I warned my husband over and over again that if he touched the children, I would leave him. I only realised later that this gave him the means to manipulate them and turn them against me. Only the youngest boy stood steadfastly by me. When his father attempted to strangle me, I gave him an ultimatum, and he promised never to lose his temper again if we moved to Wales. He cried and said he hated his job and wanted to farm. But things only got worse in Wales. He had to be master in his own house. He'd been threatening to kill me for months. We fled from the farm when a policeman said it was only a domestic and gave my husband the gun back. Then the shocking truth dawned on me that no one believed us. My experience showed me how deluded I was in thinking that I should stay with him for the sake of the children. The cards then were all stacked in his favour, and there was no understanding for women. You really were a lost soul. After the attack, Aberystwyth Women's Aid sorted me out and took me to the refuge. I learnt about CND, Amnesty International, etc., and that non-violent protest was possible. I attended a Women's Commission against Rape and Domestic Violence and began to grow up. I wrote letters to MPs, joined Trident Ploughshares, was arrested and went to prison. And from that experience, I worked on a campaign against putting women in prison. I watched unhappily the slow progress done in law to help women trapped in domestic violence. It seemed to me there was no way out when young people are made aware by government that the only answer to all our problems is violence, that is war, and the absolute madness of nuclear war. What a message to send. The situation that young women find themselves in today is worse than it was for me 60 years ago. I'm glad I've lived long enough to see #MeToo come about, and women at last saying, "We will be believed. Women together must prevail. Rape and domestic violence are all well documented. It is action and not words that is needed now."